All right, welcome everyone to my Ask Me Anything for May 2, 2024. So I redid a few different ways that I'm doing these presentations and stuff. I used to put like videos in the background and things like that. So I thought, you know what, I got to start having a little fun with these a little bit. It's Tulip Time here in Holland. The Tulip Time Festival officially starts Saturday. My wife Beth is going to be Dutch dancing. Her first public dance is going to be tonight. So it's festival weekend, so I thought I'd show some tulips here. Which leads me to next week I will not be having, usually I take the week of Tulip Time off. So I will not be having anything next week. So this is an Ask Me Anything for May 2, 2024. As I mentioned before I started recording, we probably have about 4 questions, not too many questions, but that means I can open it up to open questions as well. So first thing I want to do is tell you a little bit about me. I am Dan Wasink, owner, instructor, everything over at danstutorials.com. And this is a website that provides online classes, Ask Me Anything, such as what I'm doing today. I also have an AI assistant modeled after an Apple Genius, and I have over 2,100 comprehensive video tutorials on Apple devices. If you like what you see here, all I do is just ask you to take a look at danstutorials.com, and you can help support my efforts by becoming a member. There's a few different benefits when you become a member. So that's a little bit about me, but let's get back over to this AMA and what we are all here for. So the first question comes from Kevin, and Kevin basically works off of an iPad, and he must be going overseas to England or Ireland. So he's wondering the different considerations for using iPads and iPhones when traveling abroad. Kevin, there's really not a whole lot that you need to do from my perspective. Basically, if what I would recommend you doing if you're on Verizon or AT&T, just going with, you used to have to get a separate SIM card. I would recommend just going with an extended plan at Verizon. I think it's like $10 a day. So if you're there for 2 weeks, it's like $100. But you'll be able to use your phone and all that without having to worry about a SIM card. You could use cheaper options by getting a SIM card or a virtual SIM card with the new phones, but it gets to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So I recommend that you just add an international plan temporarily to your AT&T, Verizon. Hopefully you're on one of those. I shouldn't say hopefully, but if you're on one of those, most of us are. I'm on Verizon personally. And my sister is actually going to Ireland in 2 weeks, and that's what her family is doing. They are just adding it to their plan. My nephew went there a little bit early. He's over in Paris as we speak, and he just added it to his plan. I think they're on AT&T, but just added it to their plan. It's not terribly expensive anymore. It used to be very expensive. It's not terribly expensive anymore, and the convenience is super easy. Just turn it on temporarily and then leave. Now, with other things like getting on their networks and all that, I don't think there's any difference. You know, a lot of people will scare people into you need to be worried about going to the coffee shop and things like that. You know, I personally don't worry about that too much. But what you can do, and you mentioned this in your question, you know, use a VPN. And if you use a VPN, you're going to be good. You can go to, for the most part, you can go to any coffee shop, any place that has Wi-Fi, connect up to their Wi-Fi. If you turn on that VPN, ExpressVPN is, I believe, what you use, you'll be fine. So just make sure that you're using ExpressVPN or using a VPN when you connect up to a local Wi-Fi on the iPad and the iPhone, and you should be fine. Does anyone have any other recommendations or any experiences with that? Okay, so that's what I would say. Use your VPN, absolutely, and you should be fine. And just use the carrier's international plan. So hopefully that'll help, Kevin, and have a safe trip if I don't see you by then. So. All right, the next question that I have comes from Ward, and his question, he has several thousand, if not even more, if my recollection is right, In his infinite wisdom, and I say that sarcastically, Ward, you know that, they thought, him and his wife would be able to combine the contacts and all that, and it basically got out of hand. Is that how you would describe it, Ward?
Well, actually, what happened was I created a separate iCloud account for the two of us and set up contacts in that new iCloud account. And I dragged a bunch of existing contacts from my Mac into that shared account, thinking that they would move. No, no, they got copied.
Copied.
And so I've wound up with lots and lots of duplicate contacts in two different accounts.
Okay. So have
Now
you? Go ahead.
that's problem number one. Well, what probably we should deal with problem number one. Yes, it's
Okay.
that.
Let,
And I don't want to go through and manually do all these comparisons. So I'm
right.
hoping that there's a magic app that will help me clean this mess up.
I don't know of a personally. I can't recommend a magic app that does that, but we're going to take a look at a few different options for you. First off, have you tried Apple's version? Oh, first of all, have you made a backup of those? You know how to make a backup of your of all of your contacts?
You can export V cards.
Perfect. Yep. On the Mac, export your V card. So then you have, yep.
Yeah.
So then you have all of your. So I'll show everyone real quick how that is done on the Mac. So if you're watching this later, just open up your contacts here, and when you do, what you are able to do is export. You have a V card or contacts. What I would recommend is a contacts archive. It's just one giant archive. Export V card, what you can do is you can select which V cards you want to export. V cards being contacts. So I would just export that out before you do anything, and then you have a backup. So then if you do mess something up, you can always go back to that backup and restore it. And to restore it, you just import and select that file, and it'll import them in there. So that's first thing, backup, and then you can restore. So Apple has had a duplicate finder on the Mac for a while, and for lack of better words, it sucks. So you can go to look for duplicates. It found two duplicates, and it's going to merge them together. I don't like that. I want to see what's being merged together, that kind of thing. Now, you could trust it, and it probably will be pretty good. Basically, what it's doing is if they have the same name, but different information such as phone numbers and addresses, it's going to combine all that into one card. So it sounds great, and it will. It'll do it. It's good, but it's one option. That's it. You can say merge, and that's it. But on the iPad and iPhone, they added more capability to this. So when we go over to my, we'll pick on. Do you have an iPad, Ward? Or do you primarily use the iPhone?
One that I haven't used.
Okay, so we'll go to the iPhone. That's not showing up there anyway. So, there it is. All right, we're going to go to the iPhone here. It should show up. And basically what we do on the iPhone, they added this in iOS 17, is we go to our contacts, just like we did on the Mac. And what you're going to see here in the, when you go to these lists here, so I pick on a list, you're going to see it says one duplicate card found. So essentially, what you are able to do is basically the same thing as a Mac, but this is what I like about the iOS and iPad version. Remember on the Mac, it's one button, it says merge, and that's it. Well, when I tap on, let me move my pencil to my right hand. So when I tap on view duplicates here, it is actually going to show me those duplicates. So here we can see it found 3 cards that have Beth in there. Now, what I could do is I could just tap on merge here, and it'll merge them, just like the Mac. But already I'm getting more information. I like that it's telling me that I have 3 cards there. But if I tap on this, I can actually see where the duplicates are. And I can go even further, tap on it, and see the different information for each one of those. So here's where it's saying, this is the merge contact information. So it's actually telling me what that contact information is. Now, it says 1616 because I took the phone number out, so no one can see what her phone number is. And I'm not going to scroll up here because you can scroll up to get more information, but I don't know what I have in there. I might have her phone number in another contact. But basically, you're able to see everything right down here. And then what you can do is you can merge them together. So that's the iOS version, and maybe that will work for you. Now, I also took a look at apps for this, and I found something that was pretty interesting. And this is why you have to be careful with apps. So when I go in here to Contacts, Duplicate, there's quite a few apps in here that will do it. And if you look here, 26,000 5 stars. This one has 256,000 5 stars, so they seem to be pretty good. And I'm not saying that they're not, but this is what scared me with one of them. So I downloaded it to my phone. So let's go ahead. Let's see, which is the one that I downloaded? It might be this one here because it says open. So I'm just going to go with this one here. Down phone. So Easy Cleaner, find and merge duplicate contacts. Yep, that's what I want to do. Merge. Remember, this was free. Merge duplicates. Yep. I go get started. Right down here. I did not like this. So this is where you have to be a little careful. Remember, you get what you pay for. It says in here, by clicking accept, you agree to our terms of use and acknowledge your information will be handled in accordance with our privacy policy. Maybe it's not this one. The other one said that they're going to upload all of your contacts and to their cloud, and then something about they can do something with them. Basically they have your contacts. They're not going to actually call anybody, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't even like the idea of my contacts going up in there. So you have to be a little careful with some of these. But this is one, these you do have more power. And what you might need to do, let's see here, did I get another one? As you can see, there's a lot of them here. But what you might have to do is just kind of play around with these and just be a little careful. Contact Cleanup, this one is a paid app, which makes me a little bit more comfortable. It's one of these that I looked at was like $10 a week, expensive. So I didn't like that, and it's hard to find where the price is on this. In-app purchases, here we go. That one's not so bad, $1.99. One of them was like $10 a week. So you have to be a little careful with that. So I don't necessarily have an app recommendation, but there's plenty of apps that I think that will help you. Just be mindful of which one you choose there. Or what you may want to do is just try the Apple version on the iPad or the iPhone. Or in your case, it'd probably be the iPhone. So,
Well, the challenge for me is that the ones that are duplicated, that I have one card and our shared account has one card. I want to get rid of my card and just only use the shared one. And what Apple provides in Contacts when you find duplicates that way is that it links the two together. It doesn't merge them.
well, the iOS version merges them. It doesn't link them. So
Well,
if I
don't want to merge them, I want to kill off the ones that are.
then, okay, if you want to kill them off, then you might have to go with one of those third-party apps. Just be careful of which one you choose. But there's plenty of them there. Does anyone have any other ideas or suggestions?
I'm sorry, I came
Yeah.
going to say busy contacts.
Busy Contacts, that's a Mac app. And
Well, it's all, don't they have an iOS version?
I don't think they do. It's very stripped down if they do, because I actually like Busy Contacts. It's part of SetApp.
Right.
And it's a true customer relation management program where you can see, people that you've emailed and things like that, but you can't do that on the iPhone because Apple restricts it. So sandboxes everything.
But it is a really good program because when you actually create a contact, it actually keeps tabs on when you created a contact, which is something that contacts does not do.
Right. I don't know if it finds duplicates. Like I personally really like how they handle it with the iOS, but like you said, Ward, in your case, you want to delete them. Just unfortunately, you just have to go through and take a look at some of those and see which one. And make sure you have a. I don't know how you could do it, but you might be able to do it with just a list and try it out and just see how it all works. So just make sure you back it up. What was part? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, what about actually, because when you sign in to iCloud and looking at it that way, looking at the server version on the iCloud, I don't know. I don't typically go in there.
No, they don't have a good. You really need the app, an app like the Contacts app or a separate app to do that. To do what? Ward has a lot of duplicates. He emailed me a lot of duplicates. So, what was part 2, Ward?
Well, part 2 was that somewhere along the line on my own personal contacts, lists got duplicated. So I'll have 2 lists that contain the same card.
Well, you can delete a list, right?
I could delete the hundreds of duplicates.
Okay. All right.
I've got a lot.
All right. You got your homework cut out for you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, because here you can just delete it like that. But, yeah. All right.
Sometimes is it better to just start over, just export everything, and then turn off all the thinking and all that, and just start over.
That might be the right.
Right.
George, I got a better idea. Just delete all your friends and start over and make new friends.
There you go.
All right. So the next question that I have, this is from Peggy, and she wasn't able to make it, but I said that I would answer it in here anyway, because I'm sure others. I think I've told people about this a few different times, but here I'll say it once again because it's so easy to miss, and that is when she texts someone, it doesn't match up on the iPad compared to the iPhone. They just don't match up. I think I actually brought this up maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'll make this real quick, really easy, pretty easy thing that is overlooked, and I think it cures, most of the time it cures the problem. And that is on the iPhone. What we need to do is we need to forward our text messages over to our other device. And the point being is text messages are really designed for an iPhone, kind of thing. And the iPad and the Mac don't have phone numbers. That's basically what text messages are tied to, as a phone number. So what'll happen is someone will text you and it goes to the iPhone, but then it doesn't show up on the iPad or the Mac. You can use iCloud syncing, and that will fix a lot of the issues, but it doesn't fix the issues when someone texts you and they're not on an iOS device. So all you have to do is pretty simple, is go over to the iPhone. This is a setting on the iPhone. So you have to go over to the iPhone and open up the Settings app here. And then we just swipe up until we get to Messages. And under Messages, there's quite a few settings here, but essentially the one that we're looking for is, it's in here, I have to look for it. Oops, must be towards the top. Share. Oh, this phone doesn't have I did this before. This phone doesn't have any kind of a service on it, so it's not going to be on there. So I'm going to show you on my on my quote unquote real phone where this is. So let me hook this up. Go to settings, and I should be able to share this, hopefully. Yep. Okay, so this is my real phone here, and I'm going to go to Messages. I'm in the Settings app, and again, we go over to Messages here. And being that this actually has a cell phone tied to it or whatever, there's going to be a setting in here called text message forwarding. And my guess is, this is usually what it is, at least 9 times out of 10 in my experience, when you tap on this, all of these switches are usually not on. If you got a new iPad, it is not going to be on here. Basically what this is saying is if I get a text all of these different devices, if I turn it off any one of these, that particular device may not receive a text message unless it's linked up through iCloud, but you start adding variables in there. So if you want to make sure that they're all getting the same thing, just go into text message forwarding on the iPhone and make sure that whatever device you're using is on. I turn them all on. My brother has an iPad that he sits on the couch. Him and his wife use it, so he will turn the forwarding off on that. Actually, it turns, I think, messaging off on that. But that's how you can make sure that all of your devices are getting all of the same messages. So that's how that works. All right. The next question is from Barry, and Barry, I don't have a good answer for this, so we're gonna open this up. He recently flew somewhere, and his iMessage and FaceTime weren't working after that. He's wondering if anyone else had the issue, and you had to reset your iPad, right? Not restart it, but reset it.
After spending over an hour with Apple support, they couldn't explain it either, other than, well, you want to just change your password to your Apple ID. I said, I don't want to do that. I have lots of devices. I don't want to do that.
Right.
So what's the alternative? Well, I guess you could reset the whole iPad, and I did. And by the way, this happened to my daughter also, who was traveling with me on the same airplane.
Oh, really?
And that didn't happen to her on the way going to our destination, but on the way coming home. And she said she had that same problem about a month ago. And I just asked them, is it something to do with the new latest iOS? They didn't think so. So I really don't know what is going on. And I don't think it had anything to do with flying, but who knows?
Right.
I just wondered if anybody else had that.
I have never heard of that personally. Has anyone else heard of that or anything? Or maybe have any suggestions? No. Yeah, that's an odd one. I mean, even if Apple couldn't figure it out.
Here's a question. Did you change time zones?
No, I didn't change time zones. I changed locations and, of course, picked up different Wi-Fi. So they kept blaming it on my signal. I said, I'm getting my emails into this. I had an iPad with me. So, like, I was getting all my emails. Everything was working fine on my phone, but not on my iPad.
So what you're saying is you stayed in the same time zone.
Yep.
That's really interesting, because I know it does some crazy stuff, because I flew from Atlanta to Chicago, and I knew that I was like, okay, when I get back, we'll deal with it then. But everything when I got back was fine. But you stayed in the same time zone. That's interesting.
Yeah, and it kept asking me to sign into my Apple ID on both FaceTime and iMessage.
And you
So I
couldn't,
tried.
was that the problem? You couldn't sign into them or something?
Exactly. It kept going in a
Was
loop.
that this past weekend, or when they had that issue?
Oh,
It was. Ooh, what's that?
they hadn't. Thank you, George.
Apple had an issue. Yeah, Apple had an issue, a sign-in issue with passwords, and I think it was over the weekend. Is that when the problem happened?
It was for days. Wasn't just.
Then
I'm
this
trying to
lasted
think
for
right.
days.
Yeah, this lasted for days. Was it over the weekend though? Over this
Yeah, I
past
think,
weekend?
I'm trying to think. Might have been, George. I don't remember
That's-
exactly the day that I was working with it, but it happened to my daughter like weeks before
Yeah,
that.
yeah, there
Oh.
were several million people who had the problem.
Huh, interesting.
But I don't know about weeks before, but maybe they had. But yeah, they certainly did have a problem with the Apple ID for about 2 or 3 days, from what I understand. Random accounts. I was fine, but I know that people couldn't sign into their Apple ID.
Maybe that was it. I
Yeah.
don't know. I reset it. I needed to reset my iPad anyway, so it wasn't a big deal for me. But for somebody who has no idea what they're doing, that's a big
Right.
deal, where they lose data or whatever.
Right.
There's all kinds of issues with it, but it was not fun.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good to know. I did not know
Yeah.
they had a problem.
And you can always go to, well, I shouldn't say always, not that you'd remember this because I had to Google it myself. But, you know, if something does like this happen, you can go to the system status and just see what the statuses are. And this is where their Apple ID had a big old red thing for a while.
Okay.
So,
By the way, click back on that, on this page. Click back, because there's something else you might want to show too.
go back.
Yeah, you see right there? See where it says down detector? That's really good.
Yeah. It does the same thing.
And they have an app too. But it not only does Apple, but the thing about it is it tells you like Verizon, T-Mobile, Facebook.
Okay.
This is the go-to app that if you want to find out who's got an issue and when they have an issue, this can tell you just about 24/7, 365 who, I mean, it's really good.
And I
like I said, the app-
just used something. I don't know if it was Down Detector. I'm trying to think of what it was. And actually, on my bookmarks, I bookmarked might be Down Detector, but I had an issue signing into I don't know what service it was. This was a few weeks ago. It wasn't Apple, but I just couldn't get in. And you know, it's probably good to put this top of mind before you go down the rabbit hole, like what you know. Everything worked for you, Barry, but one of the first things probably is to make sure that the service itself isn't down, because otherwise you could be pulling your hair out for no reason. You know, it's completely out of your control. So, yeah, it's good. Thanks, George. Point people, if you're having a problem, you can't log in or whatever, maybe just go and see if the service is down. If it's down, you can't do anything about it. Go on. If it's not down, then you can start pulling your hair out. So.
Yeah, but don't you think Apple support should have known that?
Yes. Sure.
I don't think that they've ever actually admitted or found out what that was, because I was listening to a podcast and nobody has said anything, and it actually made the news, but nobody's heard what happened and why it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Hey, Dan, I'm just thinking, can I fly a little? I don't know, Barry, if you and your daughter, it's kind of interesting that both of you had that problem when you were on the plane. Are you using the plane's Wi-Fi? Could anything change your iPad Pro and your daughter's machine?
That's what I wondered. I had never heard of it.
I never heard of that. I'm sure there are people that say yes. I rarely go down the conspiracy theory kind of thing, so I'm going to say no. But I'm sure there are people that would say yes. But I've never heard of that myself either. So.
Yeah, not a conspiracy, Dan. Just to make it work or something. I don't know. Downloaded something to get access to Wi-Fi or something.
Yeah, and with now if it was the Mac, that'd be a whole different story, because you know you could download stuff. But God, that iPad is so locked down, good and bad, and primarily good for cases like anything that they download can't really affect the system software. That's the beauty of it being locked down, you know. So I can't imagine, but.
And by the way, when you were talking with Apple support, they had you do that reset network settings, didn't they?
Yeah. Yep.
That normally fixes anything like this.
Yeah.
And that's shocking that didn't.
So what George is talking about, and I'll just say this, because actually we can open this up to other questions. So if someone watches this later, if you are having network settings, and Barry tried this, but it didn't work, but it's a good point. If you go to your system settings, and we go to, so I'm at the top, start over. We go to General. At the very bottom, you're going to see Reset. And under Reset, we have different options. Whoa, where is it?
No,
Joe?
it's not there.
Oh, is this something new?
It's under your Apple ID, I believe. Because you have to get it out of Find My first, I
It
think.
says it's under General Reset. So maybe I tap on Reset. I'm just gonna tap on Reset.
Go ahead.
Here.
Tap on reset. You know it's gonna.
It's a demo phone. I'm fine. There it is.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So don't be scared to tap on Reset. I'm like, they're gonna have to confirm that I want to reset this, right? So, you know, that's a good one when you're having network settings. But just so everyone knows, I mean, I'm sure we know this. If you're watching this later, when you do that, you're going to lose all the passwords, the network. So you're going to have to re-log into any networks that you've logged into before because it forgets all of that stuff. So, but it is a good troubleshooting kind of thing. It's the old way for us Mac people. Prior to Mac OS 10, we all knew how to fix those problems. We would dump the preference files, right? That's basically, I believe, what that does is it dumps all the network preferences. So then it has to rebuild them and hopefully gets rid of any bugs. So, all right. Outside of that, we are in for open questions. Does anyone have any questions or anything that they'd like to talk about or share?
Any idea on May 7th, this next event? I think it's supposed to be an iPad event.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard anything of what's coming out?
I haven't heard anything. Well, there's a few rumors that are flying around with that. And I gave up. Sorry, Kevin. I know if you watch this later, you're a big iPad user, and I want to love that iPad. But they did say that maybe this could be the moment for a Pro iPad or for Pro apps, because right now it's still basically just a big iPhone for the most part. And I know I'm being very general with it, but and people do use it professionally on a daily basis. But the new iPads might have an M4 chip in it and using a lot for AI. So those are some of the rumors. An AI kind of device. We'll see next week, I guess. But I haven't heard of any big rumors or anything like that. So.
Looks like we have a question in chat, maybe, Dan.
Oh,
Yes, Dan,
sorry, I
I
missed
had a
that.
question.
Yeah.
Debbie. I had a question because I take my iPad with me when I'm going to work, and then I shut it off to go, and then I turn it on when I'm there. And then when I leave that location, I turn it off again and I travel home. And it constantly sends me a notification that my iPad is last found at the previous place. I thought it was supposed to recognize that I still have it, that it's with me and next to me in my seat. It doesn't?
I have the same thing. It's when I travel, and I will put my my iPad or my Mac in my car with me. Of course, I'll be traveling down the highway, and it says your iPad is 20 miles behind you. I don't. I've just learned to live with it. It's traveling with me. I know that. I know, you know. But yeah, it's kind of misleading because sometimes you might think, did I leave it at the hotel? And then I'm like, nope, I'll feel in the back. Nope, I know it's right there. But just laggy, I guess. So, I know exactly
Well,
what
one
you're
thing
talking
you
about.
Yeah, one thing you got to look at is your iPad was last turned on at your house or wherever you was at point A. Your phone moved, and it realized that your phone moved, and the last time the two were connected. Now, of course, as soon as you turn your iPad back on, it's going to get the new updated location, and then they'll be back in sync. But it's because your phone moved that you're getting that notification.
but I'm using my MacBook at this new location where I am with my phone. And when I close it down and everything and travel home again, it
Hmm.
still thinks that I've left it behind.
Yeah.
Right, because remember, the last place you were was the last place you had it open. Now, if you had it constantly open, constantly with connection, you won't get the notification. But
Nope, because I never shut my
let
stuff
me
off, and I get that same notification. So,
Well, but then still, you're putting it to sleep. So does
yeah,
the
true,
sleep notification
true. Mm-hmm.
sleep is not going to transmit location,
Mm-hmm.
though, right? Logically speaking.
Yeah.
And I'm putting that up in quotes. You guys can't see that, but but logically speaking, sleep should not transmit location
Mm-hmm.
unless you logically.
Mm-hmm. True. So,
Okay, so it's just not going to work.
right, not going to work. I see Neil. Neil has a question in here. I'm gonna try. Well, we'll experiment here once. So Neil has a question. I should be able to put the comments up here, but that's part of that new eCam. But since I'm still tweaking it, now I can't do that. But he used to have two time machines, number one and number two, and they were disconnected physically, but not as far as the computer is concerned. Number two no longer shows up on the desktop, but the computer complains about can't back up to number two. Let's see here. No longer there. How can I tell the computer to remove number two as it is no longer there? Okay, so basically he wants to remove a time machine backup. So the way that you can do that is no longer connected. So I'm going to go to my Mac here. I think I have a time machine backup. It's not plugged in. There's nothing plugged into this computer here. And let's say I no longer have that device. So you can go over to General, and then you go over to Time Machine. This is where it's located, and since they switched over to Mac OS settings. And then you're going to see the Time Machine there. Again, this is not connected to my computer. It's somewhere around here, but it's not connected to my computer. So
Right.
what I would like to do is delete this. You're going to see I have the little thing here. All you have to do is just click on it to select it, and then you hit the little minus button here. When you hit this minus, what it's going to do is it's going to remove that as a quote-unquote time machine backup. So that's all you have to do is just select it, hit the minus, and it'll
But
be
if you have
gone.
a backup on another computer, it's not going to do. It's
No,
not gonna, it's
nope.
only for that.
Only for that. Yep, exactly. And you can't really use a time machine backup hard drive on more than one computer anymore. They used to have just folders, but now it uses the whole volume. The only way that you can do that is you have to partition the hard drive into think that it's two different hard drives. So the Mac will think it's two different hard drives. So you can't even share a hard drive with two different computers using Time Machine anymore. I think they changed that a couple of years ago. But back to Neil's question, just select it and hit the minus there, and you should be fine. It'll remove it.
I hit the minus, and it comes up as saying, time machine couldn't complete the backup to time machine number two. The backup disk could not be found. Make sure the backup disk is connected or select a different backup disk. It's not connected. We need it there. Click on OK.
You don't get this, what I'm getting here? Time Machine is trying to modify your system settings, Touch ID.
No.
Time Machine couldn't complete because the battery was low. Well, I don't have it connected anyway.
Where's my time machine thing at? Where it is here. I'm on my top of the menu bar up there where time machine is.
Yeah,
I click on that and it says latest backup to time machine number two WD2B December 5th, 2023. That's when it disconnected, I guess.
right.
Backup now. Browse time machine backup. Open time machine settings.
And you click on it here.
Using time machine number one right now.
Okay. And if you click on Time Machine number two and click on the minus, what does it say?
I don't have any time machine number two to click on.
Oh, so you shouldn't have it.
There's no time machine number. There's no time machine number two doesn't appear anywhere.
And that's what you wanted to remove, isn't it? Or did you want to remove Time Machine, right?
I wanted to remove the time machine's gone in the trash,
Yeah.
but I want to get it out of my computer, and my computer apparently thinks it's still there, and it's not.
So is it Time Machine 1 that you're trying to remove?
Well, time machine one is hooked on and working just fine.
Okay.
Time machine two has been deleted a long time ago, but it apparently thinks it's still there, and it's not. It's backing up number one just fine.
But it doesn't show up. I guess it doesn't show up here though. Time Machine 2 isn't showing up in this list.
Okay, we'll see that.
So
Okay, how do I get to that list?
go
Click on
to,
my- Okay,
go
time
to,
machine, if I can find it.
yeah, you go to General under your system settings
Yeah.
and then go to Time Machine.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I don't have been doing that. System settings and,
General.
well, okay. Okay, if I see time machine at the top, I don't know which one that is. Right beneath it says time machine number 2, and down that's time machine number 1.
Okay, so if you click on Time Machine number
And
2
there's the number. Click on time machine number 2.
and then
Got a red
click,
dot out there with a
yep, and click on the little minus right here on the left side, lower
the
left.
next lower left. I don't have any minus sign on the lower left.
You must have a
I do
plus
on,
and minus.
That's on my time machine number 1. I don't want to mess with that.
Right. No, you want to make sure you select Time Machine number 2 here.
Well, way at the top, it shows time machine. Time machine backup your computer and keeps local snapshots. Kind of a verb.
Yep. And then below,
right underneath that, it shows time machine number 2, 2 terabyte. Shows the size of it. Backup last date. Next backup after disk is connected.
yeah.
And red dot with the right.
And then when you,
Beneath that is time machine number 1.
okay, so if you click on Time Machine number 2, does it turn blue like this?
Yes, it's blue.
But you don't have a minus here.
No, the red dot away on the right. No, not down. Well, yeah, but that's on time machine number 1, not 2.
No, it's going to delete the one that is selected. In my case here, the blue one is selected. So time, you know,
Oh, okay.
so you
okay.
can, as long as
fine.
Time Machine number 2 is selected and it's blue,
Yeah, okay, they're selected. Yeah.
then you can tap
didn't-
on the minus.
I didn't realize the minute was selected. Okay.
Yeah.
Forget destination. Okay, forget it.
Yep.
It's gone. Thank you very much.
That does it.
Good.
You know what? I got a question about Time Machine. With all of the cloud backups that we have, is there really a reason to still use Time Machine?
Absolutely.
Now, I'm gonna put a caveat in.
Yeah, go for it.
If you save all of your document files onto like iCloud or some cloud-based thing,
Yeah.
but okay, so yeah, now
Okay, so yes, because, well, number one, the convenience of it. If something were to happen to my Mac, all I have to do is just plug in the Time Machine backup and it restores it back to where it was. If you don't do that, iCloud will have to sync and it's going to take a long time. If you have any extra folders in your home folder, like I have this work folder, that's not going to be backed up. The only thing that is going to be synced, and it's sync, not a backup, are your desktop and documents. So all of these folders here are not going to be. Okay. So if you just use the Photos app and nothing else, okay, you don't have to worry about pictures. But my guess is people have other stuff in here. Right. Maybe they use iMovie.
No, I'm sorry.
So
I should have put another caveat in there. If I use something like Backblaze.
Well, yes, I'll go into that. The other thing is applications. If you have any applications that you've downloaded and installed, not from the App Store, where you're going to have to go and re-download those, where with the Time Machine, it just reinstalls all those applications. So convenience-wise, it's just tremendously better. Now, Backblaze, yes, it backs up everything, but it's not necessarily a Time Machine backup. It's not going to be a single-click restore, here you go, kind of thing. You're going to have to dig through folders and move them over. And if it's an application such as an Adobe application, I don't think they use drag and drop. Maybe they do these days, but any app that doesn't use drag and drop where it has an installer, you might have to go to the original place, download it, and reinstall it that way. So Backblaze will give you all of your files, but it's kind of like, I like the old Spy, the old FBI movies. It's kind of like the FBI coming in and here's all your stuff in boxes. That's it. See ya. Where the Time Machine, it'll put them all back in their proper filing cabinet and all that kind of stuff. So it's like you never left. So Time Machine is still crucial in my mind. Not as crucial, but it's still convenience-wise I think very important.
No.
Dan, I think if you check Backblaze, you'll discover that it's focused on user files and doesn't back up the applications folder
Good point.
by
Yeah.
default. And there's a long list of excluded files by file type
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
But can't you? I think you can change that. But
You-
bring
Yeah,
up-
you can change
You
it.
can.
You bring up a very valid point, Ward. But and to me, one thing that I will say is that if I ever have a catastrophic failure, I'm like, well, okay, as long as I have my files, I'm cool because any applications, you can go back out to the website and download. And I also look at it as it's a time to get rid of the junk. Because like whenever I buy a new computer, I don't do the migration assistant. I just start over and as I need it, I'll put it back in because it's amazing the things you don't need.
Right. Although I'm a migration assistant person, but I get exactly what you mean. I'm too lazy.
Well, but see, the one thing, it's like when you're moving I've moved a few times in my life, and it's amazing the things that you don't need.
Right.
And that's just like the last place that I'm in now, and I said, I'm not going to move again.
And
you just learn to deal with less.
Yeah. Yep. We have to, Beth says it probably about once a week. We got to go down in our basement and purge. It's time to purge. So it's just getting more full, more full. It's all organized, but it's just getting more full. We need to purge. Do I really need that Harman Kardon amp with the Polk audio system that is 10 years old? Probably not. Do I really need that Pioneer amplifier? Ward knows I like audio. It's nothing like what he has, but still. Do I really need that? Probably not. Why is it down there? I can't let go of it. All right, I'm going to try something here. I'm not leaving the meeting or anything like that, but I want to quit my eCam because I got to try something here. So, quit. Recording in progress. Shoot. Okay, I won't do that then. I don't want to stop the recording. So, well, here, I'm going to finish recording here, and then we can get to our just like after talk, small talk or whatever. So I'm just going to do a brief outro for people that watch this. Excuse me. So let me see here. Thank you for watching, joining us. And my next webinar will be in 2 weeks. So keep an eye out for that. Next week is Tulip Time here in Holland. So I usually take that week off. And again, if you like what you see here, take a look at danstutorials.com. I have a lot to offer. Videos are going to be ad-free, AI assistant, access to these classes and webinars. So you might want to check that out. And of course, you're helping support a small business. So again, hope you like what you see here, and thank you. Now I got to figure out how to recording. Finish.